Most people think there's only one type of elephant, and honestly, that's completely understandable. But here's the thing. African elephants and Asian elephants are so different from each other that scientists actually classify them as completely separate species. Different size, different ears, different head shape, different tusks, different behavior. They just happen to both be called elephants. And by the end of this video, you're going to be able to look at any elephant photo and immediately know exactly which one you're looking at. So let's get into it. Let's start with size, because this one is pretty straightforward. The African elephant is the biggest land animal on the entire planet. A fully grown male can weigh up to 7 tons and stand 4 meters tall. To put that in perspective, that's heavier than 4 cars combined. The Asian elephant is still massive, but it's noticeably smaller. It usually weighs between 3 and 5 tons and stands around 2.5 to 3 meters tall. So if you see an elephant and it just looks absolutely enormous, you're probably looking at an African elephant. Now here's the difference that's going to stick with you forever. The ears. The African elephant has gigantic ears, almost 2 meters wide. And here's the wild part. If you look at the shape of those ears, they actually look like the map of Africa, which makes it incredibly easy to remember. But why are they so big? Because Africa is extremely hot and those ears are packed with blood vessels just under the skin. When the elephant flaps them, heat escapes from the blood and cools the whole body down. It's basically a natural built-in fan. Now look at the Asian elephant's ears. Much smaller, more rounded. Because they live in shaded forests where it's cooler, they simply don't need the same system. Small detail, but now you'll never forget it. Next up, the head and the back. The African elephant has a smooth, rounded head, and its back slopes downward with the shoulders as the highest point. The Asian elephant is totally different. It has 2 bumps on top of the head with a visible indent running down the middle of the forehead, and its back arches upward with the highest point being somewhere in the middle. Once you see these differences side by side, you really can't unsee them. Now let's talk tusks, because this one has a really interesting story behind it. In African elephants, both males and females grow long tusks. They use them for digging, stripping bark off trees, and defending themselves. In Asian elephants, only some males grow large tusks. Many males have tiny ones that are barely visible. And most females have no tusks at all. Scientists believe this happened because of centuries of ivory poaching. The elephants with big tusks kept getting hunted and killed. The ones without tusks survived, had babies, and passed that trait on. Over generations, tuskless elephants became more and more common. Basically, nature quietly adapting to survive human pressure. Now the trunk. Both species have trunks, obviously, but there's a small difference right at the tip that most people never notice. The African elephant has 2 small finger-like tips at the end of its trunk, which lets it grip and pinch objects with really precise control. The Asian elephant only has 1 tip, so instead of pinching, it wraps and squeezes things. Both techniques work perfectly. They've just evolved differently over millions of years. And where do they actually live? African elephants are spread across sub-Saharan Africa in open savannas and grasslands. They travel in large herds, sometimes covering hundreds of miles, following the same ancient routes their ancestors used for generations. Asian elephants live in the forests of countries like India, Thailand, Sri Lanka, and Indonesia, moving in smaller family groups through dense jungle. Both herds are always led by the oldest female, called the Matriarch. She holds all the knowledge. She knows where the water is during dry season, which paths are safe, and how to keep everyone together. In elephant society, the older you are, the more the whole family depends on you. And here's something that might genuinely surprise you before we finish. Elephants are one of the smartest animals on Earth. They can recognize themselves in a mirror, something almost no other animal can do. They mourn their dead, sometimes coming back to the same spot years later just to touch the bones of a family member they lost. They feel joy, they feel grief, they remember faces for decades. These are not just big animals walking around. There is something deeply complex going on inside them. And yet both species are in serious danger right now. African elephants are considered vulnerable, Asian elephants are endangered, habitat destruction and poaching are the main reasons. The more people understand and care about these animals, the better chance they have. And that's exactly why content like this matters. If you learned something from this video, make sure you subscribe because there is a lot more coming to this channel very soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.